What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about 18 different altcoins today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content. All of these coins are at the request of you, the viewers. So yeah, let's get started. I will leave a link, not a link. I will leave a list in the description of all the coins, and I will leave timestamps as well alongside of that. But here's the list right now verbally, and I'll give shout outs along the way. So we're talking about ETC for DMD, Mana for No Arebola, WAT for the Determined, GRT and SNX for Rum Runner, TON and SUI for Chad Shee, CQT for Daniel Walsh, ZKML for Marcos Izquierdo, WEN for Armando Meza, DOGE and SHIB for Gregory Green, GALA Games for Nirmal Kanan, DGB for Josh Williams, AXS and DESO for Am Wiley, ATH for 3fect, we got it right this time, my man. ATH, and then COTI for Denny Kane. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, you guys. Thank you all for being here. Let's get started. Alrighty, so ETC on, let's actually start it off on a weekly basis. Looking like it's found its low. I feel fairly confident that it's found its low there. I don't like the weekly RSI, to be fair, but just the way that it looks, generally speaking, I don't like this kind of look. I would anticipate that you see the oversold zone, but the reason why I'm going to give it to ETC that you probably don't see your oversold zone is that you found support here before. You didn't even get into your oversold zone when you interacted with this area. You found support again here before, even back here and back here, you know. So you seem to not really care about the standard drop that most things get. And looking at the price action itself, this seems like a good area to find a low. If we look at the actual low itself to the high, you pull down to your 61869 golden retracement zone. What you need to do now is get above this 382. You found resistance there a little bit this week. Get above there. Stay above there, get above there, because if you reject down, especially if you get below your 0.5, it's going to look like you're going to interact with this 61869 again, and with that, generally speaking, you actually would break through and go to your 786, 886. So what you don't want to do is close below $22.42. You can move below there, but don't close a week below there or multiple days below there. Really just probably don't even interact with that area at all if you can help it, and continue to move up, close above 25.66. That's the area that you want to see for ETC. Let's look at the daily. The daily looks postured fine. I like what you're doing. Actually, you're probably consolidating before moving up. That's what sounds about right to me. 4 hour looks good as well. Yeah, I'm sure it will move up. I'm sure that it will move up in just a matter of time right now. And if we look at this relative high here to the relative low, I mean, yeah, your next target area would be probably 21.51 to 31.22. That's my expectation, yeah. You could stop along the way at around 27 bucks. There's a couple areas of significance there, maybe even like 28 bucks, but generally I think 29.5 to 31, just above 31 there would be where you're going next. All right, so that's ETC in the short term. Let's talk about Mana. We got a specific request on this one. We're going to use the Kraken chart actually. For No Arebola, you wanted me to talk about the end of 2024. We're going to do the general analysis first, and then we'll get into that as well. General analysis, just in case anybody else wants to see some Mana analysis. But let's get started here. So, monthly time frame, right? Consolidation phase, accumulation phase that you've been in since November of 2022. At the low points here, definitely a prime area to buy. A lot of people have asked if I've sold my Mana or if I'm still holding it. I absolutely am still holding it. I'm not worried about the price action at all. In fact, if we look at what happened last cycle, if we look at Mana, it found its lows here in March of 2020. I think, let's see, and it's definitely later in the phase, in the cycle now that it's found its lows, but March of 2020, that was like already kind of midway through the bull cycle, wasn't it? Let's go to BTC. Actually, we can just compare it here. We'll just compare it here. BTC USD on this new price scale. There we go. And then we'll logarithmicize it, make it logarithmic, if I could just talk properly. Yeah, so this did coincide with a low for BTC, but it wasn't the low of the actual cycle, right? And if we measure this from the low of the cycle here for BTC, that's what this chart is, to the end of the bull cycle. Not the high, but the end of the bull cycle itself. That's 26 bars. Out of that 26 bars, Mana did not start its bull cycle until 14 bars in. So over halfway through the market. That's how long it took for Mana to actually start to gear up. So in the later part of the cycle. So no, I'm not worried about Mana at all. And in fact, you've actually accumulated for longer longer, I would assume that whenever it does pop, whenever it does break out, you'll probably see a glorious run. That $100 target as time goes on is looking less and less likely. It's still on the table, but we would need to see some fantastic growth in a very short amount of time. For example, from a low point here to a high point here, I mean, let's just see what that would do from this low to high there. I mean, that would put us at just over $100. That'd be a nice target. If we put it at $100 specifically, it'd be a little bit less than the last cycle's growth overall. But the time frame, I'm worried about the time frame, because from a low point to a high point here, that took 20 months. If we were from a low point to a high point to move 20 months out, how much, when would that be? That'd be March of 2026. That just doesn't seem right to me. I do expect this cycle to be more robust and more powerful than the last cycle across the board. But will it be enough to see these prices? I don't know. But even with that, even if $100 doesn't happen, you guys, it's at 33 cents right now. The minimum target would be at 13.82. That's still phenomenal growth from the current prices. That's at, that's like a 42x, right? 41x. And if it hits the 1618, which is a very doable target at $40, that would still be over a 100x. So I'm not worried about mana either way, man. That $100 target is still on the table, and the main reason for that is the 1886. I'm not going to go into the full analysis with that, but the 1886 is an area that mana seems to respect time and time again, cycle after cycle, and just throughout its whole movements here. You can literally, if you know how to use fib extensions and you know how to measure that yourself, you'll find that the 1886 is respected both up and down in mana's very short existence, but it definitely does respect it time and time again. So if not there, which is at 93 bucks, perhaps $40 to 13.82 is absolutely still on the table. If we look at the weekly and we get more into the more immediate stuff, I know I'm spending a lot of time on this, but I feel like a lot of people have questions about mana, especially because it hasn't been performing well. But that's kind of in its nature. There's coins like mana, like Dogecoin, Litecoin even, right, that they just perform better at the end of the cycle, or at least that's what we've seen in their history. So on a week-to-week basis here, the weekly RSI is looking good. I like that you bounced off the oversold zone, formed a higher low. The overall RSI looks bullish. You look like you're in your bottoming phase, and you'd probably make a run up to your overbought zone here with this next move up, which makes sense because you're at your bottoming phase here with the accumulation phase as well. I think this next move up would take you above this resistance point. You would break out of this zone, and as far as like when that would happen, I don't know. We're starting it now, but when are we going to break out of it? I don't know. If we take the high to the low here, our 61869 zone would be at about $1.76 to 221. That's where I think the breakout would probably take us. If we take a nice kind of estimated low to the high of this range, which I'm not taking the actual low, but like the more respected line of that low, if we put it there, the breakout move itself would take us actually just above. So maybe we do just shred the golden ratio on our first attempt. Maybe we don't. We don't have to do this, right? It's just an idea. But breaking out of your accumulation range, measuring it, if this is a horizontal channel, which I feel like it is, that's kind of how you would measure it. So prices above $2, above 220 are on the table for when this happens. When will that happen? I don't know. Perhaps we get a breakout by the end of the year. In fact, I would expect that. The way I have this drawn right now would have us potentially in like October. I could see Q3, end of Q3, or maybe Q4 being the time frame that we're up there. So get it while it's hot, man. It's not going to be down here forever. I guess get it while it's cold. I keep saying that, but I'll say get it while it's hot, but actually it's cold, right? You want to get it before it's hot. But looking at the daily here, daily looks fine. A little bit bearish on the daily RSI, not going to lie there. But if we look at the relative low to high, you could go a little bit lower and still be fine. Pulling back to your 382 is a very common maneuver, especially on strong moves, of which I would say this is. So 32.2 cents, maybe just a little bit below there, but that makes sense for a couple reasons. It's your 382. If we put a line there, it's also near the closing points for support that you had back on this range. You even tipped it for resistance. Once you moved above this line, you broke out and you had a nice move up, right? You're kind of consolidating below it. So I think around 32 cents will be where you go, a little bit lower, and then up from there. Whenever you do move up, again, I mean, the next target area, you might have stops along the way, but the next target area is this area of resistance at about 80 to 82 cents. And when you break that, it's on upwards to like 220 or more even. And then obviously beyond that as time goes on. So that's mana. That was a little bit of a long one there, but that's mana. I think it deserved a little bit of extra attention. I haven't talked about mana enough. Every time I mention mana, I always say the same thing. It's one of my favorite coins, actually. I don't show it a lot of love. That's because, I mean, look at the chart. It's boring, right? Like it's not going to get as many views, and it's not really worth talking about beyond that because it's just boring. Like, I don't like to talk about things that aren't moving, right? I don't think anybody does, right? That's what, like, I don't know. I'm gonna get off on a whole topic, so we're gonna stop it there. But WAT, W-A-T, is the next one. Very new coin. I don't have a lot of history for it. Is it available on Dex Screener? WAT, and we're at, what is that? 4026. Make sure we get the right price. That'd be this one here. Maybe it is just new, but we've got a little bit more history on this chart, don't we? Okay, so it moved up a lot, and now it's moving down. How much has it moved down from its relative high? Okay, that's a nice retracement. It could go further down. Absolutely, it could. On a daily basis, you are finding resistance at your previous closing points of support. It's not a good look if you want to find a low. And then from a high to a low here, rejected your 0.5, and you're, I don't know, man. I think you will go lower. I don't think this thing looks bad, right? I don't think you're done moving down, and that's okay. I can't really draw a fib from the low to high. I don't feel comfortable doing that here, so I'm not going to do that. But maybe we could get an extension based off of this move here. Yeah. This looks respected to some degree. So I would say 4016 to 40,108. That's your target area, and that might make sense. We want to see kind of a mid 80 to a 90% drop overall, and look at that. That'd be right at the lower ends of that range. So maybe you even do go all the way down to like 5072. You could go further than that. Your 2272 is all the way down here, and that would be at 5049. 93% drops, 91.5% drops are pretty common with things that just pump ridiculously in the space. So that doesn't mean it's dead. It just means you have more to go. It might not go that low, but either way, I would at least expect 4016 to come into play, if not likely lower prices for WAT, and then probably pump up afterwards. If other meme coins are pumping and this one's not pumping, don't worry about it. Things take their turns, right? It had its pump while a lot of coins weren't pumping, and now it's dumping while some coins are actually pumping, and some of them, actually a lot of meme coins are kind of just consolidating, so it's not a big problem. I could be wrong. Maybe you do move up, but the way it looks to me, I would think that you do move down. So that's WAT. It's a very new coin. TA is not going to be as accurate with new coins, but I gave it my best go. GRT, the graph for Rum Runner. I love that name. Run me some rum, man. I actually love rum a lot. I don't drink it. I don't drink it because I think it's more carcinogenic. My wife loves rum. That's, I think, her favorite drink, actually, as far as alcohol goes. But I used to drink a lot of rum. Now I just drink like tequila or gin. That's like, I don't like tequila, but I drink it because I think it's healthier. And then gin, I like gin a lot. But enough about that. Low to low here. Holding nice support. I do like that. Looks fine with GRT. On a monthly basis, you're at your 50 on the RSI. That's a nice area to find support. In fact, you did find support here on your last little like 2-month spurt of consolidation, whatever. On a weekly format, your weekly RSI kind of looks like it would want to go lower as well. But it kind of reminds me of ETC, right? You've found support, but you were working your way down inevitably. Maybe you do go down lower. I don't know. The price action wouldn't really suggest that. I'll give it the same kind of idea. If you close below the 0.5 on a weekly basis, if you close below 19.5 cents, then perhaps you do move down. And you're pretty close to that now, being at 19.82. So if you close below 19.5 cents for multiple days or for 1 week, if you close below it, right, not move below it, but close below it, then you run the risk of not only interacting with this 618 area at 15.6 to 13.6 cents, but actually breaking through it. Second attempts often do promote breaking through it. If not, if you hold it, that's a good look too, but I don't normally expect that, and we can see how it looks. But generally speaking, this weekly RSI would have me thinking you have lower to go, but the price action itself has me optimistic that you might not. Just curious about this too. And you're at your 0.5. Hey, you got some decent areas of support there. I'm not gonna lie. Let's see what you're doing on a more relative fib here. High to low. I mean, with this, I would kind of expect that you move higher, up above 24 cents. You want to get above 24.3 cents. So, and on the bright side, when you interact with your 382 on the first time, you normally do move above it. But can you move and close above it? That's the question. Close above 24.3 cents, and I'll be convinced that this is your low. If not, you might have lower to go. But I do think you want to move higher for what it's worth, at least temporarily. So calling for a move up to 20. It looks like you got an inverse head and shoulders, and this volume is perfect. This is an inverse head and shoulders, man. Yeah, I think you're going to break out to the upside, really, actually, based off of this move alone. Yeah, the daily's nice. We'll see you up at like 33 cents, man. 33 cents, that's your next move, is probably 33 cents, honestly. Yeah, let me see here. Yeah, okay. Based off this, that'd be your measure move, right? And let's see, high to low. Take you right into your golden zone, right at your previous areas of resistance. It all looks good. So yeah, just don't close below like 19, what was it, 19.2 cents, 19 point whatever I said in the beginning. That's GRT. Oh, you want me to do cycle highs, right? That's what you want me to do. Which is kind of hard to do, but we do have a previous cycle high to a current cycle low, right? So we can do that. Minimum expectation would be $8.67. Maximum could be about $35. You could move higher than that. You know, deep extensions are not something that is like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not something rare in the crypto market, but still, this is the expected zone. That would give you anything from like a minimum of a 43x from here to potentially a 176x, 77x from here. So not bad, not a bad range there. Even at its worst, that's still decent gains, right? And you're probably at the low of this move up. If it sees new all-time highs, that's the question. And you'll know that you'll see new all-time highs if you can close any given week above $1.83. That's your real target. If you want these all-time highs to come into play, which I think you will, I personally think you will, but if I'm wrong on that, $1.83 might hold as resistance. But if you can break above there, $1.83.14 technically, yeah. That's GRT. SNX, USD, synthetics, right? Yeah. Same kind of idea, cycle high to cycle low. $66 to $188 from the current price, which I would compare it kind of to mana, right? You're at the low ranges of your accumulation phase. That'd be a 37x to potentially just over a 100x, so not bad there. Do you see it is the question, right? That's kind of the question at hand. And I don't know if you do, maybe you do, maybe you don't. I don't know enough about it. You did start to pump in January of 2019, so you moved up with the rest of the market last cycle. You're not doing it this cycle. Different patterns might beget different results, but it's not all over, right? Let's see. You topped off pretty early from a low point to a high point here. Yeah, it took 25. I don't know, man. I don't know. I would expect that whenever you break out of this zone that you see a nice move up, that's for sure. High to low, you probably would see a move, come on now, to about $9 to $11.40, somewhere in that range. You're at $1.77 now. A little bit above $9 and at about $11.40, that's your range. And absolutely, you could go higher, but I don't know if I would expect this 1618 so much. Maybe this 1272 is where you would go. Maybe even the 1414 right at $100. It's a nice psychological level. But even then, you know, assuming you see new all-time highs would put you at like a 38x to potentially a 54, 50, 56x, you know, something like that. So decent gains, but not as much as the other one, probably. But I could be wrong. You know, I might be missing something, and that's okay. Weekly RSI looking like it would want to go down a little bit. I doubt you go too much lower. I feel somewhat confident that that is your low, finding support in these areas. And then if we look at the daily looks like it kind of wants to roll over a little bit, but I wouldn't call this an inverse head and shoulders. If it is, it's like slanted, but I think, you know, you could move down as low as $1.61, but you're probably going to find support soon to start moving up. I bet with the rest of the market is what my thoughts would be. That's SNX. Talk about ton coin for Mr. Shi. Ton. Ta-da-ton. Ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ton. Hold up. There we go. Okay. $6.91 is what you're at now. Moving up a lot, yeah. From a high, you know, maybe we're not going to do it on this chart. I want to use, do we have anything? Maybe KuCoin? What's that high at right there? Like 350. What's this high at? I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to use the KuCoin chart. Okay. I'm going to use the KuCoin chart. But that's October, right? That's in October of 2022. When was this? December. So it should have had it. It didn't. Okay, so I mean, if it didn't get it on KuCoin, I'm not going to count it. So high to low here. You're at your 1618 area. Perhaps you do find some resistance here and start to correct a little bit. The weekly RSI would look like you'd want to correct. You're rolling over a little bit in the price action on a daily basis. Yeah, it's just looking worse as we zoom out. So you probably do move down. I'm very optimistic that you hold this $5 area. I'm very optimistic you do. You're at 691 now, so that's a little bit of a drop, but you might even hold 596. You could hold just below 6 there, but somewhere in this zone and probably right at your 1272 is where you're going to go. That's my genuine thoughts for Toncoin. So probably around $5, moving down. Moving down. It's taking its time, but it's going to happen. I think I've been calling for that actually, but that's Toncoin. Looking at Sui here. Let's see. Low to a high, found support in its golden ratio zone. Rejecting off the 0.5 would not be a good look. You don't want to do that. If you do that, you might be going down to your 786, 886 zone. That could happen. The weekly RSI, I don't really know what to make of it. Daily RSI looks productive, but you are at areas that you have found resistance the last couple times. So don't reject here. In fact, do what a lot of coins are doing, right? What they're doing is forming this kind of inverse head and shoulders pattern, right? Hold true to that and break out to the upside, right? You don't want to close below. I mean, really, you don't technically want to go below. Depends. Where's your shoulder? I'd say you don't want to move below 77.2 cents. Don't move below there. You're at 80 cents now. You can go down there, but just don't move below there. Not a close. Don't move below there. But your 382 lines up right with that. Okay, let's give it 75.9 cents. Don't move below 75.9 cents. You could go down there. Okay, I'll give it to you. And that wouldn't look terrible on your RSI. In fact, you could, with that, you might come down to your 40 and bounce off that. That would be a really good look, actually. So maybe a little bit of downside and then some upside. But I do think you're moving down, relatively speaking. So down is my thoughts. Yes, down for Sui. CQT. And I actually made a video on this recently for anybody that's curious. I did make a video. I made it like right at the top, actually, man. Like literally it came out at the top. And I said, get out. I said, what did I say? I said, sell your CQT. Jason coin is legit. Let's see. CQT, time to sell. I mean, I'm going to try to mute this here so that I don't have it. Let's see. It might be loud for a second. Let's see. Mute it. The price was at 3.3 cents. 3.3 cents. That's what I just saw, right? Blow this up. This whole thing goes over what Covalent is actually saying here. And they actually say, let's see, you can see it right here. CQT holders. No, that's not what I was looking for. Where is it? Basically, it's been deprecated. They literally say has no value, might have residual value and liquidity on some trading venues, but you should not buy CQT is what they're saying. For anybody that's wondering. I really encourage anybody to watch this video. If you've bought CQT after July 10th, especially so, if you bought it before also as well, but 3.38 cents is where I was telling people that they should sell. That's where I sold. And I think it's a good time to sell. If the people who made the coin are saying it doesn't have value, don't buy it, that's normally not an encouraging look, right? And that's because CXT, or I think that's what it's called, CXT, is their new version, right? So you're going to get a one-to-one transfer from CQT to CXT if you held it before July 10th. But anyways, it might move up. It might move up from here. I think the highest target that I would have is like around 11 cents. It could. Maybe it moves up to 5 or 7 cents, something like that. It might move up first and then move down lower, but don't be surprised if it just shits from here. So that's kind of my thoughts on CQT. If I was in it, I guess it depends on where I bought, you know. Hopefully nobody put money in that matters in here. If you did put money that matters in here, get the hell out of it. But if you've got money that doesn't really matter to you, maybe go ahead and let it ride, see if you want to. I do feel like it might move up a little bit more, but if it could, it really could just dump, man. We had 35, 38%, 39%, 42%, humongous drops day after day after day, you know. So, and it's no coincidence, in my opinion, that a coin like this literally tipped its 618 retracement, tipped it to a T. Trading algorithms, somebody with money, maybe the exchange itself, they just like bought into the fluctuations of this. I don't know how else to put it. I very much wouldn't be surprised if we went a little bit higher, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if that is the high. You know, so I want nothing to do with it. I don't think anybody should be buying this coin because it's a dead coin now. The project's not dead, but anybody who bought after July 10th, understand that your funds are not safe. They are definitely not safe. Get out sooner than later. If you want to wait for that next pump, that might come, it might not come, then go for it. But if not, you know, maybe take your losses while you still can, because it will be worth nothing very soon. I don't know if Kraken's going to delist it. I have no idea about that. I would assume so, but I have no idea. And then you definitely can't get your money back, right? You'd have to sell it to somebody who wants to buy it from you OTC, not on the open markets. High to low here on ZKML, rejected the 618. You're probably going to move down. Oh, you found support on your 0.5. That's nice. You're probably going to move down to about 13 cents, probably. Yeah, I think so. Down to 13 cents. We'll see you there. Easy peasy. That one was nice. Thank you, Marcos Izquierdo. Thank you. When is the next one? When is it going to pump? When could it be? From a high to a low, hit your 1272, and now you're a little bit below your 886, which isn't as common, but it does happen often enough. You know, 786 could hold its support. This area could hold its support. I wouldn't expect that you move too much lower. The trajectory of this trend kind of looks like you're holding this here, but time will tell. Is there another chart with more data? There we go. Some KuCoin chart, just a little bit more data. Low here to high here. I wouldn't be surprised at all if it went down a little bit, but I would think that you hold 3 zeros, 126. I would think so. If not, well, perhaps you are going down to 4 zeros, 77, around there. When. And then if you move up, you know, we can look for targets at 3 zeros, 26. That's my thoughts on when. Doge for grayery green. We can use Coinbase. We're not going to do a long-term analysis on Doge. I do think that it's found a relative point of resistance. I do think Doge is one of those few coins that's going to move lower. As I was saying with Mana, it likes to show up late in the cycle. Dogecoin does, so it has more time to go down. It might see a lower low. It might not, but I do think it'll move lower from here. I think that if you're patient, you might be able to snag Doge below 10 cents again. I've seen, and I'm not going to throw out names because I don't care to call people out. I'm not trying to start wars with anybody, but I've seen people try to draw all kinds of ways for Doge. Like it looks like a nice curve. I've seen like parallel channels, and just all of it I think is going to be proven wrong because none of them compare Dogecoin to what it's done historically, which is that it normally shows up 2/3 of the way through the bull market, of which we're getting close, but we're not quite there yet. So in that time before it shows up, it normally hangs out around this green line, this 123 actually. If you go on the weekly basis, you take a simple moving average, right there. It's probably an SMA. They've updated it so it'll say simple moving average, but a moving average, not an exponential. You put it at a 123, you go on the weekly, look and see that the last 2 cycles for Dogecoin, it has hung out around this 123, and it's interacted with it once, had a pop, but it's still, I don't think it's the right time frame for it to pump yet. So I think that you will probably hang out around here, maybe just below 10 cents, maybe just above 10 cents, whatever. And then over the coming months, maybe sometime in like October or later, you'll start to see this thing rip and do what Dogecoin does. So boring, moving down, not excited about it. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think I will be. Anyways, that's that. SHIB is the next one. SHIB USD on Coinbase as well, sure. Same thing as Doge. It moves with Doge. It's more dramatic than Doge. I would expect the same thing as Doge, right? They boned themselves by saying they wanted to be the Dogecoin killer, so they will forever be tied with Dogecoin. And it's no coincidence that it pumped here on February 26th, and Dogecoin itself pumped when? You guessed it, February 26th, right? So SHIB's just following what Dogecoin does. The charts look very, very similar. I would assume it also has the same fate. It might even move down more than Dogecoin, as knockoff coins or coins that are like wannabes do, right? They move up more and they move down more as well. So that's just my thoughts on Shiba. Easy with that, right? I doubt it would break away from Dogecoin. GALA Games, that's our next one on Binance here. Looking at it on a weekly basis, finding support on your oversold zone. Looking nice. I like that higher low kind of move that you got going on. I think it looks fine. I think it's fine. Let's see, low to high here. I don't know. Maybe it does move down more. Maybe it does. Yeah, the daily doesn't look good. It's not a good look on the daily, man. Ay. Low here. Come on now. Low to the high. 2272 hit. Oh, dude, yeah, I don't know if I like this GALA. If you get below 1.87 cents, 1.877 cents, if you do that again, GALA might be dead, you guys. It might not be good. I'm not 100% sure. It's still in its accumulation phase, right? But I do think it wants to move down from here. How low will it go is the question. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. I don't know. Hopefully it can hold 2.16 to 2.1 cents. If not, you might run the risk of running down to 1.7 cents and lower, man. That would just be bad. So really, I guess the last line you want to hold technically would be 1.879 cents. Let's just see how you do. I don't know, man. I think you're moving down from here. Let's see how you do with this 61869 area at 2.166 cents to 2.1 cents. I'm sorry for the serious tone. I don't know if this thing is going to drop to new all-time lows. I don't know if that's going to happen. It's just not the best looking chart right now, but that can change very quickly, right? It doesn't take much. This thing does like to rip really quick, so hopefully it can find support in a relative area soon enough and then just rip, and these worries will be gone. And they're just worries. They're not convictions. They're not it's absolutely going to go down. I want to see how it does going lower. This could be a really good buying point. It might do really well from its relative high to low. Its next move up could take it all the way up to literally up to like 22.5 cents. You're at 2.4 cents, so that's a nice 10x, right? And it could even grow beyond that. So it's hard to say. We'll know more as time goes on. Let's check back in on this like over the weeks. I'd say week to week might be a good thing. Normal Canaan, I think if you request this at least once a week, it might be good to look at. DGB, and I feel like maybe I said that the last time I did it too. I don't know. DGB looking just like Mana, right? Just like that chart, like a lot of some of these OG coins are looking like. Let's see here. What do we got? Yeah, I think that's fine. Okay. I don't mind the weekly RSI. Not a big fan of it. I don't mind the daily RSI. Let's get a better chart on here. There we go. Kind of got an inverse head and shoulders look. All right. Hold this line. Don't move an inch. You already moved lower. It's not an inverse head and shoulders in my opinion. It's very weird that the right shoulder would be higher and lower than the left shoulder. So it's not an inverse head and shoulders. I don't like that. That's not encouraging. Low to high here. Perhaps you're moving down to 0.007 to 0.0068. You need to hold that area, because if not, same kind of circumstances as GALA. If it holds this area, great. You've got some glorious upside potential. Absolutely you do. You're not even at a cent. I think this thing could see prices above $1 by the end of its cycle. I really do mean that. And, you know, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it only goes to like a slightly lower high, which would be at like 9 to 12 cents, something like that. maybe it does see new all-time highs, which if it were to see new all-time highs, its minimum target would be from a high to a low here would be at like 47 cents to potentially $1.54. That is still on the table. But this rejection off your 382, getting down here like this, like you need to start showing some strength very soon. You can move down a little bit. You can move down a little bit, but don't. It'd be nice really if you held this exact area. It would actually be really nice if you held this exact area. I'm not expecting that. You might, but if you don't hold it, what you want to hold is 0.007 to 0.0068. You need to hold that area. So if not, not good. So let's check on this one again in like a week as well. Let's see how it looks. If you close above any of these price points here, let's absolutely check on it. And if you close below these price points, let's check on it. Until then, you know, I said let's check on it in a week, but maybe not. Let's just see how it does until it breaks out of one of these ranges, right? Yeah, this could be a pivotal moment for DigiByte here over the coming weeks, over the coming days. AXS, Axie Infinity, another coin that's kind of lost its luster, right? Yes. I don't know about Axie Infinity, man. I don't know. Oh. Saw a lot of use, right? And then it just dropped off a cliff and it hasn't seen any restored life. There's other exciting projects, and that's how it is for most coins, man. They're exciting for one cycle. They're the next big thing that's going to change the world, and then the next big thing that's going to change the world comes out, and people forget about the last big thing. You know, it's how it is. You don't have people who are loyal to the community, loyal to the cause with a lot of these things. They're just loyal to the pump. They're loyal to the next big thing, right? And that's kind of how I think. I mean, it makes sense to do that, but if you're just chasing that, you're never going to catch the pump. You have to be a little bit lucky and catch things before they take off. But going on tangents. Weekly RSI, not the best look. Daily RSI, rejecting the overbought zone. Same kind of thing, Axie. If you want to move up and not be a dead fish in the water, you need to hold $5.117 to $4.979. You need to hold that area. If you break to new lows, obviously, I think that you're condemned. I think that's it. You have a chance of like seeing a lower high this cycle, right? But that's about it. Maybe your lower high is at $9. Maybe it's all the way up here at $57. But I'd be very skeptical if this thing sees new all-time highs personally. I don't like the daily RSI. I definitely think that it's moving lower. So unless you can hold this red line, which is extremely uncommon, then potentially you can hold this 382 at 560, which that is fairly common. If not, $5.11 to $4.97, 98 cents. That's the line in the sand you need to hold. If you can't, it's bad. It's not bad. So really, same kind of thing as the last like three of them, man. It needs to hold this level here. If it closes below it, let's talk about it, as in it's going to go down to the dumps, probably. And then if it breaks above this, let's talk about it as well, because then it's saved from that, but time will tell. I'm not certain about it either way, and as of now, I think it will move lower, and that's okay. It can move lower, but hopefully it holds this area. If not, you really need to hold the 618, and I personally wouldn't have good expectations of that, because this would be a busted pattern. It looks like a slanted inverse head and shoulders right now. It'd be a busted pattern, and that'd probably send you below these lows. So really, I know I said the 618 is what you want to hold, but I think you really want to see 560 being held as support. You can go a little bit below it, like 559 is fine, but don't go too much below it. You're at 599.5 right now. I do think you're moving down. Yeah, absolutely. I think you're moving down. So very precarious placement on these last ones, man. GALA, DGB, and AXS, all of you, you're in the doghouse right now. Start showing up, or you're gonna get left behind. It happens. It happens to a majority of the coins that exist in this space. They exist for one cycle, and that's it. Then they're irrelevant. It's not like these are rare calls that I'm making. They're actually, statistically speaking, they're not good, right? They're probable. $15.50. You held support on your 618. I like that. This does look like a nice chart. Decentralized social. I haven't heard of it, but DESO. Weekly RSI is holding support on the oversold zone. Nice. Kind of look like you want to move lower. But I don't know. I think you look fine. You might move a little bit lower. Perhaps you move just like into this zone a little bit lower than your most recent low, and then you can start moving up. If not, you might move down to like $11.20 to $9.28, something like that. But time will tell. If you move down here, I don't know if that would be a good thing. Maybe, right? Just like with the naked eye. Yeah, I don't know if you'd want that. So you really do want to hold this white zone here between 1351 to 14 or 1550, somewhere in that zone. That's DESO. DESO. ATH, we're getting it right here, 3Fact. We are getting it right, my friend. KuCoin. Nope, not that one. MEXC. Maybe we should put it on a daily. Gate.io. Nope. Okay, so KuCoin is probably our best bet. Yes. Very new coin. Unfortunately, my friend, a coin like this is not the easiest to figure out, right? TA isn't going to be that useful in something like this. In shorter term time frames, it will be, but what I can say from a low point to a high point is you're closing below your 382. I would expect that you move down to 6.878 cents, 6.66 cents. You could see new all-time lows, which wouldn't be saying much because this thing just came into existence. I say new all-time lows. I don't know if I'd count this as your all-time low. It's hard to say, right, because it's so new, but lower than 5.7 cents is on the table. It absolutely is. Prices down at 5 cents to even like 4.3 cents are on the table, but right now, let's just focus on holding 6.8, 6.9 cents, 6.66 cents, something like that. Lower, I feel pretty confident in saying it's going to move lower. Now you got some bullish divergence here, but hidden bearish. I think it's a sucker's bullish divergence. I don't think it's going to hold. I think you're going to go down. Hopefully I'm wrong. If you can close a day above 8.21 cents, then I'll be wrong. Close a day above there, and then you're moving up. But I don't know if I'm going to be wrong, man. So that's that. Let's talk about COTI and be done with this. Man, these last 5 have just been depressing. Like, really, there we go. Here's a nice looking chart. Finally, thank you, Denny Kane. Thank you. Finishing on a good note. Thank you. I appreciate this because this has been depressing, bro. Like SHIB, DOGE, GALA, DGB, AXS, DESO, ATH, they're all moving down. And the last like 4 of them, 5 of them, those they're in like the doghouse, right? Doge and Shiba are not in the doghouse, as ironic as that sounds, but they're just doing what they do. But yeah, let's talk about this good-looking coin, COTI. I like that you held your RSI here, dude. Your RSI on the weekly looks great. I like that a lot. Daily RSI is kicking ass right now. Your price action is kicking ass, moving up with volume increasing. Finally, we've got some life in crypto. Thank you, Denny Kane. Low or high to low here. You're at 11.88 cents right now. 16 to 18 cents is where you're gonna go. That's your next target area. Very likely, probably going to find some resistance around that 16-cent zone, probably. But inevitably, whenever you break out of this, you're going to move up to 41 cents, 68 cents, and likely beyond that. Thank you. Denny Kane, you're the winner for tonight. COTI gets the win, undeniably. I don't even remember what coins looked good from earlier in this analysis, but I hope and I do believe that COTI looks to be the best, so we're going to go with that. Anyways, guys, I will see you on the next one. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more. Congratulations, Denny Kane, for being the winner on this, and yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.